Welcome guys, this is my lifestyle. I'm Kylie. Today I want to show you a quick recipe on a fermented carrot and ginger recipe, but I'm going to add some turmeric to it as well, and I'm going to try a little bit of chili in this one for the first time just to get that little bit of a spice happening to it. Now, I never used to like the fermented carrot and ginger. It has taken me ages to like it. I've sampled it so many times, and then all of a sudden recently I've sampled it and I really enjoy it. So I've been making lots of it, and I'm actually really enjoying having it on the top of pretty much on the top of anything, and also in the middle of toasted sandwiches with a cheese. So I use a coconut cheese, but you can use whatever cheese you like in the middle of a toasted sandwich. That's really nice. Same with the fermented onion, red onion done that way and in the middle of a toasted sandwich is also really awesome. So I already have over here, I've prepared some, I've already I've already peeled some carrots and got some ginger and turmeric. So the ginger and turmeric are all homegrown, and same with the chili, that's homegrown as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it through the food processor on the grating function, and then after that I will show you what the next step is to do in it. I'll just finely chop these little bits that didn't actually grate very well through here. Just sometimes that happens. It doesn't all seem to go through. Once you get it down to a certain point, it just slips all the way through. But that's okay. Here's your main mixture, which is just carrot, ginger, turmeric, and a little bit of chili for some spice. All right, now that I've got all of that grated, now obviously you don't have to use a food processor. You can grate it by hand, you can chop it up finely. You don't even actually have to grate it. You can just chop it into whatever size pieces you'd like. I prefer this grated texture myself. It kind of sprinkles over the top of salads or on top of an omelette, and for me, this is how we like it here. So I've got the mixture. I'm going to add some black pepper. I'm going to add some pepper. So the reason I'm adding pepper is because I have turmeric in here. Turmeric is better absorbed when you have pepper or a good fat like avocado, coconut oil, something along those lines. Oh, pepper's going up my nose. So I also am adding it for a bit of flavour. But I want it to be easily available to me when I eat this mixture without having to think about it too much. So I'm going to add some black pepper, and then this is the most important ingredient, is your salt. So your salt is what's going to help you ferment the carrot and the carrot mixture. It will keep away the harmful bacteria and yeast and help the good ones thrive and survive and ferment your food nicely without getting mold on top. So I'm just going to start off with a tablespoon in this amount. And what I'm going to do then, after I've sprinkled this through, I'm just going to mix this all through with my hands. And I'm going to, oops, here's a couple of big pieces that I've missed. So I'm going to just mix this all the way through so the salt and pepper is mixed over all of this mixture. And then I'm just going to give it a taste, because what you want to do is you want to put around about a 2% salt to the weight of your carrots and of whatever veggies you're using actually. So of this carrot mix, you want around about a 2%. What I like to do is I'm going to do it with the taste test. So after I finish mixing this around, I am going to just give it a taste, and if it tastes salty enough to eat but not too salty, you're looking at a good ratio. If it doesn't taste salty enough, you're going to need to add a little bit more salt to it. So like I said, what you want is around about a 2%. Sorry, there's all these stray bigger bits. You're going to want around about a 2% ratio, but just taste it. I do it by feel and by taste. You don't want it too tasty, otherwise you're not going to want to eat it. But if you don't have it salty enough, you're going to get mold. That's just the long and the short of it. So and the salt will also draw out the moisture out of your carrot and your turmeric and your ginger. And this is what we call the brine. And you want that. So you want the brine to happen in this ferment. Because I'm using turmeric, my hands have gone a bit yellow. I'm just going to taste this and see. I think I'll add just a little bit more salt. Definitely not another full tablespoon worth of salt. Maybe just half that amount. And then I'll mix that through now, of course, as well. I think that'll be plenty. So you kind of mix it through and give it a little bit of a massage as you go. And it's going to start, as you can see, it's going to start letting out the juices, and that's the salt working to make this beautiful brine. So now what you can do is you can, if you want, and if you're lacking in time, you can jar this straight up. But what I'm going to do is I've got to go and help a friend in a moment. So I'm just actually going to let it sit here and get the brine happening while I'm away, and then I will come, when I come back, I'll finish videoing this and show you how you jar it up. Yes, that's perfect salt. So you can taste the saltiness, but it's not overpowering. So I will leave this sit here to let the salt infuse and bring out the juice of the carrots. And then when I get back from helping out my friend, I will show you how I jar it up. Okay, it's been a couple of hours and I've gone and helped my friend, and I'm back now. So this has just been sitting here, and there is, I don't know if you can, the camera will pick this up. Can you see all that juice in there? That's exactly what we want to happen. So now I'm going to jar it up. I'm hoping that it'll all fit into this jar. So we'll jar it up and we'll let it ferment. Now you're going to want to pack this in tightly. You don't want to let any air, you don't want any air gaps or you know, any little pockets like that. I like to get a soup spoon and really push it down. You can buy special fermenting mallet things. I don't have one. I find that as it goes on, like as we keep filling it up, the spoon method always works for me really well, and I don't like buying things if I don't have to buy them. And you can really push it down if you can get your hand in there. Push it down with your fingers as well. Like, really squish it in. Make sure that there's no air bubbles. And try and get as much into the jar as you possibly can. I think I'm going to need another jar. I was wishful thinking to get all of this into the one jar. Now there's several ways that you can hold your carrot mixture underneath the brine, which is what you want, because that briny liquid is going to prevent any mold and bad stuff growing in your ferment. And so as you can see here, there is quite a lot of juice in here. Because I have the containers, and this is a wide mouth jar, I just use a smaller jar that fits in, and all I do is push that down into it. And make sure that the brine is over the top of all the carrots and holding it down. And then I just place the lid on. So as you can see, this one is quite full. There's lots of juice going everywhere. I just went and got another jar, another big jar. And so I'll do the same with this jar. I'll pack all the carrot mixture in. Pack it down nice and tight. Now, if you don't have another jar to fit on top to hold your veggies underneath the brine, you can use a cabbage leaf and just fold that up so it's thick, and it when you put the lid on, it presses everything underneath the brine. You can also you can go and find yourself some nice rocks that will fit into your jar as a weight. And just, if you do that, make sure you clean them really well and then boil them so that there's nothing bad on them. Goodness me, I've made more than I thought. That was 2 jars, plus I've still got some left. So I didn't fill this one quite as much, because that last one was a little bit overfull. That's better. I'll just duck off and grab myself another jar. Alright, so this time I've just got a little salsa jar. And I'll put the rest of this carrot mixture into that. And so with the salsa jar, I don't have a little jar that will fit into this one that works well. It's already quite shallow, so if you put a jar in there, it's not going to hold very much. But since it's the bottom of it, I'm going to just put in all of that extra juice that's in there. And I'll just really push all of this down nice and tight. I could go out into the garden and get a cabbage leaf to put in the top, but since this one's got quite a lot of brine in it, I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep an eye on it and make sure no mold forms. So depending on the weather that you have, the warmer, the faster your ferment will happen. So here at the moment, for carrots, because they're quite sweet, they're also going to ferment quite quickly. So I'm looking at somewhere between 3 to 5 days maybe for these carrots. it's all a matter of personal preference and taste as well. So just after 3 days, check on them, have a little taste, see whether you like it, see whether it's fermented enough for you, or if you'd like to leave it longer. You'll also notice that some bubbles will come up on the jar, and that's a good thing, because that means your ferment is working well. So yeah, so after 3 to 5 days, depending on your temperature, you're ready to put them in the fridge and then consume whenever you want. All right, thank you so much for tuning in today. Big hugs until next time.